Hi guys, welcome back to Crazy Brave Homeschool. My name is Ashley and I'm a homeschool mom to a second grader and a TKer. In this video, I have a nice fat update for you. It probably hasn't been too long since I posted a homeschool update, but I literally feel like everything has changed for our last 4 weeks of homeschool. Some of those changes are definitely expected, but some of them are not. And we have some changes, you guys, that I did not see coming. Okay, so you guys might be thinking, how on earth is your homeschool so different with only 4 weeks left of school? It's probably maybe a good idea to just quit now, right? But one of the big changes that I knew was coming is that I wanted to wrap up a bunch of curriculum so that we could do a Harbor and Sprout unit for our last 4 weeks of homeschool. And so we wrapped up a few things that I'm sure that I've mentioned in past videos, and I'm trying to keep this video as concise as I can. But anyway, we wrapped up a few things, and then we start Harbor and Sprout homesteading tomorrow. I'm really excited. This is the first time I've ever used a Harbor and Sprout unit, and I've had the whole thing printed off for about a year, so I feel very ready to use it. We are also pairing it with the book Little House in the Big Woods and the Hearth Magic learning guide. So we're doing those two in tandem, and that's going to be like the bulk of our, like art and social studies and literature, science, nature study for the next 4 weeks. So we'll be pairing those things on top of our math and language arts. I'm trying to decide what I want to tell you guys. I think what I'm going to do is tell you guys what the major changes are that I didn't see coming into our homeschool. And then I'm going to end this video on some curriculum changes for next year. I think I've definitely learned to not post curriculum reveal videos too soon. Like in February, I think is when I did it, even though they were potential picks. And then I posted in April our like definite picks. And then of course, things have changed now even a little bit more. So hopefully this is the last update on curriculum changes. But I like to keep you guys up to date with what we're doing. So, okay, the changes that I did not expect have to do with our core subjects, have to do with math and language arts. Okay, I'm going to talk about math first real quick. So I love Right Start. I have spoken so many great things about Right Start the last 2 years that I've used it with my older child, my daughter. It is a program that worked really, really well for her. It's still working. But I have talked in the last, over the last year or so about how it hasn't been working exceptionally well for my son, who is very good in math. But it could be his age because he's only 5, and we started Right Start Level A with him when he was 4. I think the formal lessons with him were maybe he wasn't ready for that, even though he's really good with numbers. So after trying that Bright Start and a Waldorf math that didn't work, we put him in The Good and the Beautiful Math K, because I just felt that this was more age appropriate for him. I've never really been that wild about the format of this math for a young child, but it was like colorful and the graphics were appropriate and the lessons were really short, and he doesn't really mind pencil to paper work, even though that's not my preference for how a young child should learn math. He doesn't mind it. And so we put him in this, but I just decided that this was just not my preferred math, and I really wanted Right Start to work. And so I put him back in Right Start, and we did another handful of lessons, and we just kind of hit a wall again. And I was thinking what to do. I started looking into Math with Confidence again, and I looked into Math Mammoth. I printed off samples for both. And over the last couple of weeks, I have been doing some of the sample lessons with him. The Math Mammoth program is probably like the far end of the spectrum in terms of math I would ever consider for my kids, because it is super workbook heavy. Unless I'm missing something, it doesn't seem to have a lot of like lesson incorporated in the lessons, there doesn't seem to be much teaching, is what I'm saying. And so it seems like a program that kids who are good at math, are probably just naturally inclined to do well with, because they don't mind doing that pencil to paper work, which kind of is the way my son is. He has not been into the super hands-on manipulative math. He does like math games though. So it's really not my preference, Math Mammoth. I tried Math with Confidence with him a couple lessons. Those went really well. I do like how structured the lessons are, and then you have a game, right, which he loves, and then you have a little independent work with the workbook, which he doesn't mind. So I feel like I'm getting the best of both worlds. It's parent-teacher involved, which I like. It has the games, and then it has the independent work. But we're almost at the end of the school year. I am not ready to bring in a new math program for him. So instead, what I was doing was just pulling a bunch of games from Right Start and just doing card games with him and stuff. And that's fine. He's in TK. But if I was going to move him into Math with Confidence, it would be grade 1, because looking over the kindergarten level, I know that he would do better with grade 1. But I started to get a little nervous about gaps. And so I'm really eating my words right now. But I pulled back in the Good and the Beautiful Math K just to get him through another handful of these lessons this year over the next 4 weeks before moving him into level 1. So he has already he did the whole first unit, which was 40 lessons. And then we just did the assessment, it's all really, really simple for him. So we're going to be going into unit 2 over the next 4 weeks. I may just start skipping ahead like a lot of this is really, really simple. So I may skip ahead and just find some lessons in here that might challenge him a little bit to see if we can fill in any gaps that he might have before putting him in first grade math. So that's my plan. I'm going to stick with the Good and the Beautiful Math K just a little while longer. And then I will reveal at the end of this video what my math plan technically is for him and my daughter. So speaking of my daughter, okay. She's been using Right Start Math the last 2 years. She did book A. We are almost done with book B. We just have a few lessons left. Here's the deal though. Level C, I have some problems with. The first third of okay, so this is technically, I think, a second grade math curriculum, although my daughter is really great with math, and I honestly think that Right Start is advanced, and it has put her at a third grade math placement. That's where she placed with our charter school assessment we just took. So I really think Right Start is advanced. But anyway, this is technically second grade. It focuses a lot on subtraction. And that's what she does need more review with. But third grade math does start getting quite heavy into multiplication. And she's ready for that. This book doesn't go over a whole lot. This level doesn't go over a whole lot of multiplication. And the first third of this was just far too much review. She would be frustrated. So my whole plan for next year was we're going to use book C, skip the first 30 lessons, and then just finish it and then start book D probably early, within third grade at some point. But okay, and so maybe now I'll just reveal my math plan for the end of the year, because this is a good time. If I'm going to put my son in a math program that's not Right Start, it was bothering me to think about having them in 2 different maths. I know that that's really common for homeschoolers. I like the idea though, if it's a teacher intensive math program, I do like the idea of them doing the same program. Right Start could very well work for my son. Maybe it just wasn't a good year to start him on it. But I'm just not loving level C for some reason. Like the more I look into it, now I'm looking into lesson like 40 through 50. It has this kind of busy work with filling in number charts, like subtraction charts, that to me seems like a lot of busy work because she's pretty good with her lower number subtraction facts. So here it's like, okay, now I'm skipping another 10 lessons out of it that I don't really think that she needs. And these charts, I'll show you what I'm looking at. These charts are, Right Start's never done this before. They didn't do this with addition in level B. I mean, she's doing like 4 or 5 digit addition now. And they never did any of these charts to start her off with that. So this is just all of a sudden like a totally new thing that we're doing with Right Start that it's throwing me off a little bit. I don't love it. And then on top of that, there's not a ton of multiplication in this program. So I'll just get to the point. This is what I've decided to do, and I can't believe it. We are going to take a year off from Right Start. I am going to get Math with Confidence grade 1 for my son and Math with Confidence grade 3 for my daughter. The more that I look into Math with Confidence, I'm excited. I have had some FOMO about not trying out that program with my kids because it seems to be the best of all these worlds combined. It has the teacher intensive lessons. It has the games that I love with Right Start. It has the manipulative hands-on work that I love with Right Start, but it has a more fun workbook, more colors, and more kid-friendly graphics. So I'm excited. It also, level 3 focuses heavily on multiplication. So I know that she, even though she's doing grade 3 math, I know that she will be on grade level with the math program that we're using. That as long as her subtraction is solid, then she will be good going into level 3 Math with Confidence. So my plan to make sure that her subtraction is solid is we have actually set down book B, and I'm just having her do the assessment pages as like a math warm-up for the beginning of the day. And then we are doing about 20 lessons of subtraction out of this over the course of the next 4 weeks. Throughout the summer, I'm just going to play a lot of subtraction math games with her. And I'm thinking that she will be good to go for Math with Confidence level 3 after just, some good hands-on work with subtraction. Okay, so that's my big math reveal. I can't believe it. We are walking away from Right Start. That feels insane. But a lot of the manipulatives with Right Start are going to work for Math with Confidence. And I'm really excited to see how it goes. I'll end the math thing with this. My daughter says she hates math, even though she's great at it, and she likes the games that are with Right Start. She still says she hates it. When I told her that we were going to do a different math program next year, I didn't even have to show her what it was. She was so elated. She was so excited. I don't know if I just think Right Start is fantastic because it's worked well for her, but we should take into consideration how our children feel about the math, and just seeing her excitement to start something different made me feel more solidified in my decision. Okay, you guys, we got to hit language arts. This might be a little chatty. So, as most of you know, my daughter has been using foundational phonics. This is going well. We're 3/4 of the way through the program. I actually figured we might finish this by June 12th, which is our last day. Here's what happened though. So the STAR 360 exam or assessment that we have to take with our charter school every year has come. It's like the dreaded assessment that I just hate. And if you've watched any of my other videos, I've gone into length about how these assessments are just really emotional for me because my daughter has definitely struggled to learn to read, and we've tried a lot of different programs. So in my mind, this was just going really, really well. We have been pairing this with the McGuffey reader. We do this during the day for lessons, and then she reads the McGuffey reader at night. This program's great. It's going so well. It's building her confidence for reading. She's able to do it. However, this program is really not built the way I think a lot of modern programs are, or more traditional programs. She has been taking the reading assessment over the last week. We get like a 2-week window to take it, and we are really taking our time. I set the timer for 15 minutes. She answers as many questions as she can, which is usually 4 questions she can answer. And so it's 34 questions. So it's really taking a while. What I'm finding though, this is the first time where the test has actually given me some really good information, like where I'm actually grateful for it, because I thought that we were at a certain point that we're just not. The creator of this program, when I emailed her, I said, so when we're finished with this, where do I go from here? And she said, really, at the end of this, she should be at a 3rd or 4th grade reading level. I'm sorry, not 3rd or 4th, 2nd or 3rd grade reading level, and just keep reading good books, which was really hard for me to believe because my daughter is not reading, big words at all. Not even big. Like, she's not reading a lot of multi-syllabic words. Before the assessment, I was curious. I went into my All About Reading. I have level 2 that we've just never used. And I went into the flashcards and I pulled out a handful for her to read. And she really struggled with just 2-syllable words. Like words like pretend, where she doesn't know the rule to say the long E and then the short E. So this program just really didn't go over open and closed syllables much at all. So it's these gaps in her phonics and like decoding understanding that I am worried about. And so she's taking the assessment. I'm so proud of her. She's really doing well, but I'm seeing the gaps. I am seeing like these rules that she would have been taught in 1st grade had she been going to a traditional school. And that even though she can read, so like she could read this pretty easily, but I'm looking at this, and yes, there are multisyllabic words in here, like apples, and making, and joyful. But there are not a lot that have like the open and closed syllable rules. For example, like the word forget, she's pretty familiar now with bossy R. So she would read that really easily. But I think that when it's a multisyllabic word that has multiple rules in it, then that's really what starts to trip her up. And she just hasn't had enough practice with any of it. It's just not enough practice. It's not enough instruction is really what I'm saying. There's not enough instruction with this, and very little instruction with McGuffey, because this doesn't come with a teacher guide or anything. Okay, so I don't know how she's going to score on the assessment yet. I have a feeling they're going to say that she's around like a late 1st grade level, and that's fine. That's totally fine. But I was here thinking, well, maybe we don't need another program after this for 3rd grade. That is clearly not the case at all. She needs a lot more practice. So this is what really kind of messed with me. I have had All About Reading level 2 sitting on my shelf since last summer, and my plan was to use this until I went down the rabbit trail of the McGuffies. I looked at the first lesson in this, and I was like, oh my God, like this is, I think, a 1st grade reading curriculum, and they are learning multisyllabic words in the first lesson. So the first lesson is open and closed syllables, of course, right? And they have her reviewing words like, first lesson, and these are review words. I'm looking at this right here. Chopsticks, codfish, himself, bobcats, eggshell. And then there's phrases, tan handbag. So she could probably read all of this. There were a couple words on here with the little activity, squish. She could maybe read. I guess like what I'm saying is, even though she could do this easy enough, this is lesson 1 out of All About Reading Level 2. So if I'm here thinking, there might be some things on here she doesn't know. Quicksand, like this would take her a minute because she doesn't know to separate compound words. Like this hasn't gone over that yet. Whoops. This has not gone over how to separate compound words. And if it has, it is so brief. Super, super brief, because I don't even know where to show you in the program that it has. Okay, so I'm alarmed, right? We have been working on, she's doing so great. She's come such a long way. I'm really trying to just be proud and celebrate her and I. But this has been sitting on my shelf for over a year. Like, we should have used this, I think. So here's my plan. We have put this down because she needs a lot of review. So we're not finishing this. We got through 3/4 of it. Once she gets through the assessment, she has 5 questions left. We're going to do All About Reading Level 2 for the next 4 weeks and throughout the entire summer. So I didn't think we were going to be doing summer school, but it is so necessary to fill in the gaps in here. Hopefully we'll be able to get through this fairly quick. I will offer her an incentive at the end of the summer, like a gift card to Target or something for doing a lesson 5 days a week. Out of this is really my goal. That's the only summer school we'll do besides some math games. And then we're going to start All About Reading Level 3 for 3rd grade. And I am finally going to get off this Charlotte Mason reading train, and I'm going to teach my kid how to read with some straight up instruction. I'm like so over this. Anyway, so that is my reveal for language arts next year. My son will be doing All About Reading Level 1, and my daughter will be doing All About Reading Level 3. And Math with Confidence. So 2 programs that are totally new to our homeschool. It's kind of exciting. She has flown through the first reader. We are just, about 1/4 of the way away from finishing this. I did get the 2nd reader, but I know that All About Reading comes with their own readers. And at this point, I really don't care if she gets into the 2nd reader. I care that she gets caught up with her phonics. So maybe we'll do the 2nd reader at night like we've been doing, or maybe we won't. All right, I told you guys it was going to be a fat update. Okay, before I get into what we are changing for curriculum next year, aside from our math and language arts reveals, I want to show you guys what I'm dropping. I want to show you just a couple things we've been working on, or a couple things to come. So we have been reading 5 Children and It. We started this, even though we are starting this tomorrow. My daughter can usually do 2 chapter books at once because she's really into being read to. So we've been reading 5 Children and It. We are about 1/3 of the way through this, and it's going really well. So I've never read any E. Nesbit before. My daughter really likes it. She would love it if I just kept reading. I haven't totally loved reading this. The language is, of course, that classic Old English. I'm laughing at myself that I actually thought we would be like this, like super Charlotte Mason homeschool next year with a ton of classic literature. That's kind of a joke to me now. And we have read some classic literature, and it's fine. But the idea of only doing that for the most part is insane. It's tough. So there are parts in this that I will just like skip, like maybe even half a paragraph, because like it just rambles. Like the style of the writing is just like so different than how we talk. I mean, some of it anyway. And honestly, she's not losing anything by me skipping over some parts. So yeah, kind of an interesting book. She loves it. So that's really all that matters. I don't know how much I've shown this book around the year. This is just an adorable little Waldorf book about the months, just like little poems for each month. And we've been doing this every month throughout the year, and it's really cute. The kids, they appreciate it. It's helping them to learn a bit about the seasons, which we really need some work with. because apparently my kids don't have a grasp on the seasons yet. And I honestly thought that we could move past that. I mean, we haven't done a whole lot about the seasons aside from the fact that we have so much nature around us and are constantly doing things outside, and we do nature study. But anyway, apparently remembering the seasons is hard for them. So I actually printed off from Teachers Pay Teachers a little project, the 4 seasons. I'm happy to link this. We're going to do for the last 4 weeks, I put this in our morning basket. It's just 3 little projects. So the first one is drawing the 4 seasons. And then the second project is cutting and pasting these little, symbols of each season. And then the last project, and I did it on cardstock, so they'll take it a little more seriously, is a seasonal wheel. And they will then draw some nice pictures, I hope, nice detailed pictures of each season. And we will make a little pinwheel and display this in our homeschool room because they need some help with the seasons. Okay, and then I got this at the library. This is cute. This is called My Thoughts Are Clouds, and it's poems for mindfulness. So I put it in our morning basket. We just started it. But I'm going to be bringing in some more mental health resources for next year, and I will reveal those resources once I get the books, probably in like a haul, like a summer haul video. But it's really cute. They're just little poems about mindfulness and breath and, observing your feelings, how to relax, how to give yourself grace and forgiveness, lots of stuff on breath. So really cute. Okay, and one last just kind of like update wrap up thing before I talk about some things that we changed for next year. We've been using Write by Number for probably the last like 6 weeks, maybe a little longer. And we're just on stage 1. So stage 1 is just about writing the perfect topic sentence. And until they master that, and by mastering it, it means, capitalization, proper punctuation, but also, the kids using more of their vocabulary, taking some spelling risks. Really, you're supposed to sit with stage 1 until the child can write multiple different topic sentences comfortably. And so we've been hanging out at stage 1. The catch with the daily assignment is that she has to use the number 2 in her sentence. So I have 2 friends. I see 2 flowers. I have 2 pets. My mom said 2 things to me. And so the whole idea is that that's the topic sentence. And then once you move into stage 2, it's I have 2 friends. My first friend is Abby. She has brown hair. My second friend is Lily. She is older than me, or something like that. So you're getting into your first body paragraph with your topic sentence and then your main idea. So have just been hanging out at stage 1. She is definitely a bit of a reluctant writer, but that is starting to change. I don't know if this program is causing the change, but she's been writing on her own a lot more, like in her books and journals and stuff. The deal with, and this is kind of a sloppy example, but the deal with this is that, so she writes the date, she writes her sentence, and then I go through and correct the sentence, and then she has to rewrite it. So the correction with the top one was she said, I see 2 cat. She forgot the S. So then she has to rewrite the sentence. And she really doesn't want to rewrite it. Okay, so she's trying to make it perfect the first time, which is like the whole point. But at the same time, it's keeping her from using more of her vocabulary because she doesn't want to make a mistake and have to rewrite it. So we haven't gotten too far. Every morning she does. So like for this one, she said, I see 2 flies, but she spelled flies wrong. So then she respelled it here. Her handwriting is getting like a lot better. I can see a lot of improvement with her word separation, the way that she's using the lines. We've been using the Good and the Beautiful handwriting level 2 all year, and it's really been working well for her. So what I do appreciate about this program is that like it's really helping her to master capitalization and punctuation, writing, taking her time, writing something, really thinking about the spelling. But I'd say that she is definitely not super confident with her vocabulary because she just doesn't want to have to rewrite the sentence. So she's only using words that she thinks she knows how to spell. But that's okay. We will hang out at stage 1 as long as we need to. We have decided to set this down for the rest of the school year until next year because we are starting finally this creative writing book from Usborne. We are going to do, I'm hoping, my goal is to do 4 pages out of this for the last 4 weeks of school and then pick it back up again next year. But I think that this will be easy, will be a nice change of pace for her because it's very minimal writing. It's just like writing a word or 2, you know, so I think she'll be okay with it. All right, you guys, to finish off this video, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what we are dropping for next year. So aside from our changes with math and language arts, we have decided to drop okay, and the whole reason I'm dropping stuff is because we are homeschooling 3 days a week next year instead of 4, which is going to be really tough for me. It's going to require longer homeschool days and some homework in the evening. So I'm just trying to drop the stuff that we just really don't need. So we are dropping the Hauling Sea Hauling books for next year. We finished Paddle to the Sea and the kids really liked this, but I think they just liked the adventure that Paddle took. They did not retain a whole lot of the geographical references in this. This is also a classically written book. There are a ton of references in here that would bore a child to death, I think. Not all kids. I'm sure a lot of kids really enjoyed a lot of the references to just like, I don't know, like how people work along a river and what are some of the machines and factories doing at that time. And I don't know, like they didn't care so much. They did like to see what happened to Paddle. And I think like they can definitely tell me where the Great Lakes are, but that's about it. And we're doing a lot of other things for geography. I don't need these books to teach my kids geography. I only want to read them if they're enjoying them, and I just don't have time next year. Another thing that we are dropping is the poetry program from Under the Home. So I was really excited about this. It's a very rigorous poetry analysis program that is, you know, age appropriate, I think. But I just don't have, like, I would have to do this 3 days a week, and we're only homeschooling 3 days a week. And so I would rather do more with writing and spelling and reading fluency than a rigorous poetry program. Like, she's just not there yet. She's really not. And so we are going to just do the poetry with Blossom and Root level 3, which is just reading a poem out of like it's a National Geographic poetry book. I'll show it in some video. That's the only thing we're doing for poetry next year. And we will come back to Under the Home at another year. So with that in mind, we are also dropping 3rd grade Shakespeare. This was also from Under the Home. I don't particularly care when my children learn about Shakespeare. I think it would be really cool for them to learn a little bit about it at like being young, but I just don't have room for it. We have way too much going on. I don't think that a 3rd grader and a 1st grader need to know Shakespeare. I think that this is definitely appropriate for middle school and high school, but I just don't have time for it. So I'm happy putting it down. We are also putting down, or we're not starting yet, our Island Story or Viking Tales. We are doing history with Build Your Library, Ancient Times, and this is just not necessary. And Build Your Library comes with so many beautiful books that are geared for that time period. And so we're just going to stick with that, and we'll come back to these another year. I am just like, I'm so done trying to fit in all of these extra supplements. Something that I am really just feeling very firm about is that I need to simplify our homeschool. I want my children to retain what they are learning. And I really think that that is going to be more easily done if we do less, but do more with what we're actually doing. If I'm just bringing in all of these things all the time, we can't really dig in. Like, we can't go super deep into them. I want to talk more about this in a different video, and I'm really taking a hard look at our choices for next year. And I'm probably going to be making even more cuts. I just really want the children to value what we're doing, and me too, instead of just checking stuff off because I want to have some like beautiful feast for my kids. In addition to cutting a bunch of curriculum for next year, we also cut a ton of extracurricular stuff too, like kind of out of nowhere. We quit tutoring because clearly the tutor wasn't catching on to the gaps that Poppy had with reading, and it was honestly just a total waste of time. So the tutoring is done until maybe we need it again. We did let Poppy quit piano. She's been wanting to quit for a solid 4 months, and we kept pushing her to stick with it a little bit more, but she really it just had to be done. She was done. So she's going to pick up the drums, I think, is her next instrument, which is great because we have a drum set. She also has decided to quit gymnastics because she would rather do horseback riding, and I told her she had to choose between the two. And so we are going to be doing lots of horseback riding this summer, and then we'll see how she feels at the end of the summer if she wants to pick gymnastics back up again. And then our day camp is ending for the summer, so they won't be starting that back up until next year. And before I end this video, two tiny little things I wanted to mention to you. Updates is that my son Woody is like finally showing interest in picture books. He has just been kind of going wild with wanting me to read one book after another lately. This has been a struggle for us ever since he was like really, really little. He just has not liked being read to, but I really see that changing, and it has me really excited because his kindergarten language arts is very literature packed next year. And then another thing I just want to say before I sign off, I started taking a lot of the resources that just weren't really getting used enough in our homeschool and strewing them. This is like a self-led learning term, strewing, or maybe it's a term from other things too. But you take what you want the kids to work on and you strew them around your house so that hopefully it's like an invitation to play, right? So I have been putting a lot of materials on the kitchen table as an opportunity for them to work on stuff in the morning, like with breakfast, and then at night when we're all having dinner together. They just like to keep their hands busy, otherwise they're just going to eat fast and, be done and get up from the table. So this has been going really well. They've been doing a ton of drawing, lots of tracing. Poppy's been working on a book that she's actually writing her own words to without having me do the writing, which is so great. She's really taking her time with it. And yeah, just like lots of little activity. Oh, I've been putting puzzles on the table. They've been getting into those, just all kinds of homeschool resources that don't get used enough. So maybe a little tip, you could try it. All right, you guys, that was a fat update. I am going to be giving my year-end review at the end of our school year, so look for that video in June. I'm going to talk about all of our favorites and least favorites from our homeschool year. I'm really excited for that, and I will be back soon. All right, bye.